Hi, this is Sive Morten with the daily update on EuroFX. I post my exclusive market overviews with the key political and economical events, charts and important levels on the ForexPeaceArmy.com forums weekly. This short video is a response to rapidly changing situation on the currency markets and should help you to stay on top of the game and be profitable. I suggest you to visit ForexPeaceArmy.com forum and read my analysis for the week before watching this daily video. Welcome everybody. Today guys we will take a look at the Australian dollar because in general the long-term analysis that we have prepared on the other currencies such as the Japanese yen, on the euro currency, on the New Zealand dollar that we have discussed on the previous week are still valid, and although the situation slightly is changing here and there on other currencies, but in general the long-term setup that we have specified previously still working. And on the intraday charts, on the lower time frame charts, it's not much to discuss. But on the Australian dollar, there are some patterns that now are forming here. And Australian dollar is interesting right now as on the long-term chart, as on the short-term charts. And the other reason is that we haven't taken a look at the Australian dollar for the long period already. So let's take a look at it. Well guys, since this is the daily video, I suggest you to read our weekly research, because the analysis of the monthly time frame chart and the weekly time frame chart are some interesting moments. And in general, if you take a look at the monthly chart of the Australian dollar, you'll see that market has accomplished the huge, really big picture ABCD pattern, and current move down that market stands with, I'm speaking about this action to the downside, is just a respect on the completing point of the ABCD pattern. That is the 100% extension of this pattern. But as the Australian dollar has the fast acceleration on the CD leg, the chances that market still could continue move higher above the current all-time highs really significant. They at least exist, and the market really could continue move higher. In such circumstances, I'd suggest, when the CD leg is much faster than the AB, I'd suggest that market could, and in most cases does this, that it really could continue action to 127 extension or even to the 1618. That is what about the really big picture on the Australian dollar. But meantime, we stand with the downward retracement on the monthly time frame chart, and this action to the upside is the respect on the first fib support, 38 fib support on the monthly time frame chart. As you can see, right at this fib support, market has created the reversed head and shoulders. We have discussed this pattern once on Australian dollar, and in fact has completed the minimum target of this pattern, A, B, C, bottom, 100% extension. Right at agreement, also the fib resistance, 618 fib resistance with the whole move down, and take a look. Market stands at daily overbought. That's in fact the deadly combination for the bulls in the short-term perspective. When the market stands at the agreement resistance and then the overbought, that suggests the retracement to the downside. How deep the retracement this will be is very difficult to say, but in the beginning of the next week, we probably should be focused on the searching possibility to take in the short position, because this is the combination of the resistance and overbought condition creates the gently directional stretch pattern that suggests retracement down. Okay. Right now, I just forget to say about the weekly time frame chart. Right now, currently it's very difficult to say whether this action is the reestablishing of the upward action on the monthly time frame chart, or just respect of the fib support. Because market has some signs that point on the possible continuation in the short-term perspective on the weekly time frame chart, on the daily time frame charts, because right now market stands above the monthly pivot resistance 1, and that suggests that a bit longer trend on the weekly time frame chart could appear. But at the same time, this absolutely doesn't exclude the possibility of the deeper action to the downside. To be honest guys, right till the 76 area where stands the all-time 618 fib support from the ABCD pattern, any retracement to this area will be valid, and possible and acceptable without the breaking overall bullish tendency that is based on the ABCD pattern. Only if this deep retracement will be taken out by the Australian dollar, in this case we could say that probably the really all-time bullish upward action ABCD pattern and bullish long-term trend has been failed. But until this will happen, in general, market could reestablish the upward action from any FIB support area that will stand on the road to the 76 area. And this 86 area is the first FIB support on this road. And where market will reestablish this upward action is very difficult to see. That's why it's a very interesting situation on Australian dollar. In other words, we know that market has the huge chances on the continuation to the new highs on the monthly time frame chart, but we do not know yet from which FIB support this action could start. And even when it has started, and we see that, for example, here we see upward action, we can't say whether this is the new all-time trend to the upside or that just as respect the market could continue move to the downside. That's what about the real big picture of the Australian dollar. But in the short-term perspective, as I said, as we stay at the significant resistance, we should be focused on the searching for bearish reversal patterns on the intraday charts. Now let's take a look at the 4-hour time frame chart. On the 4-hour time frame chart, we see that market has shown nice thrust up. It's not absolutely perfect, but still it is acceptable for generally directional patterns. Okay, and particularly this pattern could trigger the downward action, and this pattern could be the double repo sell. But guys, as you can see, this orange line is the 100% extension of that ABCD pattern. Okay, and you can see that market hasn't quite reached it for the few pips. That tells us that if this really will be the double repo sell, the second top of this double repo should be slightly higher than the first one. I prefer to see that market will hit this target, and only after that will confirm this pattern or create some other reversal pattern or something of that sort that will trigger retracement down. I can't exclude, guys, that on the 50-minute chart, for example, we could get the butterfly sale here or something of that sort. It's not really very important how market will hit it, but just keep in mind that before any reversal pattern will happen, keep in mind that market should hit these areas 193.10 approximately, okay, and complete the ABCD pattern. When this will happen, we will get the significant relief and could just easily start to think and watch for a reversal pattern that could appear here. One of them could be the double repo sell. Maybe this will be head and shoulders on the hourly time frame chart or something of that sort. But anyway, in the beginning of the next week, we should keep an eye first on the hitting of this target. Second, on appearing on a reversal pattern. The minimum potential of this bearish pattern stands approximately 100 pips. So if market stands right now about 92.40, 92.50, the minimum target will stand approximately is 91.40 area. That's the 50% support of the whole thrust, if this will be the double repo sell. That's just the initial target, the minimum target that market will be able to reach. So as you can see, on the Australian dollar is really interesting setup right now that creates the patterns as on the higher time frame charts as on the intraday charts. So anybody, despite where you are trading on the intraday charts, you're a scalper or you trade on the high time frame charts, you will find the reason for taking a position to trade something here. So let's see what will happen, and keep an eye on the Australian dollar as on the long-term charts and on the short-term charts, because the situation is really thrilling here, and depending on what we will get here on the monthly time frame charts, we could get real assistance from the higher time frame charts that could really point us the direction for a long period. That's the real potential of the Australian dollar.